My dear children, from today onwards we begin the season of Advent. The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, meaning arrival. And this word adventus is a Greek equivalent word, parousia, meaning waiting again, but again waiting for emperor or for official to come. And this word is used in our liturgy, and it means we wait for our Savior. In this season of Advent, we know the first candle we use is the candle of hope. I just want to take you back to the incident that took place 17 days back in Uttarakhand. The 41 miners who were trapped inside the tunnel, and how they were rescued on 28th, Tuesday. I would say this incident will bring out the image of hope, the meaning of hope. We know what it means to be trapped in a tunnel, that too for 17 days. And right outside the tunnel, the families were waiting for the safe rescue. And there was this little hope that all of them would be rescued, not a single life will be lost. And thanks to the rescue team, on 28th, late Tuesday, we got the good news that all of them were rescued, all the 41 workers. Another image I want to bring to your mind about hope is the waiting room outside the ICU. If you happen to go to a hospital, and if you just visit the room, ICU room, you see people waiting there, and they wait for a good news that about a patient who is inside, maybe battling for life. And the close friends, the dear near ones, just wait for the good news from the doctor that the patient is improving. But sometimes that's not the case. The good news is not always given. There is the bad news. But the underlying word that we find, or the message that we see, is all of them, they have this hope that their dear ones inside the ICU will be all right. The first reading takes us to the people of Israel who have returned from the Babylon captivity and were asked to be in faith, to be in hope, because we know the situation is very bad back at home. But the prophet reminds them to keep calm, to always hope for the best. And the gospel tells us about to be always watchful and alert. In other words, to be vigilant and to be always prepared for any eventuality that comes. My dear friends, in our parish, the parish of John the Baptist, Pilen, Goa, we had these 2 deaths this last week. The death of Terence, who died on 28th. He was battling with cancer. And the very next day, after 2 days, there was the death of the 70-year-old parishioner Patricio de Souza, who met with a tragic accident. We know that Terence was prepared for his death, but for Patricio, death came like a thief. And that is what the reading tells us today. to be always watchful, to be always alert. So, my dear children, as we enter the first season of the first Sunday of Advent, I ask, and as we light the candle of hope, let us first of all, in the first place, try to be prepared, be awake, be alert. Because if we are not alert, then we know any eventuality that comes, it will catch us like a thief. The second thing that I want to tell you, that I want you to practice or to put in daily life is the idea of, or the sense of doing your duty, or be prepared for anything that comes. Because we never know what hour will come upon us, and it is wise from our part to be always watchful, to be always prepared to do our duty faithfully. And we have 4 weeks, 4 Sundays to prepare. The first Sunday, the liturgy tells us to be always be alert and to be people of hope. And the saint for this week is Saint Ambrose, whose feast day we celebrate on 7th December. We know Ambrose was the bishop, and why he is famous? Because Saint Monica, the mother of Augustine, who was always used to pray for her son to get converted, because Augustine was leading a very bad life, sinful life, till one day she meets Bishop Ambrose, and the bishop tells him, instead of telling your son to change his ways, just come to the church and tell God, change my son. And that's what happened. It is said that Saint Monica took the advice of Saint Ambrose, and she used to pray every day without fail, till one day her son, Saint Augustine, was converted. And this is the power of prayer, I would say. Always hope. But our hope should not be, I would say, not empty, but always hope in God. And because God can change the hopeless situation into a hopeful situation. And this is a small advice for you, dear parents, from the life of Saint Ambrose. As Saint Ambrose told Saint Monica, instead of telling your son to change his ways, just come to the church and tell God, change the ways of Ambrose. And I would advise you, instead of telling your sons or children to change their ways, because most of the time they will not listen to us, all the more they may do the worst things. I would say, come to God. Take your children to God. Pray. And tell God, these children are your gift. We are just stewards. You change them. And give me the grace, your strength, so that with your grace, I may change them, and you are the one who is the main instrument for a change. And my dear children, the second message for us is today is to be alert. We are exposed to the internet, the mobiles, and many times we are caught unawares of what we see, what we watch, some harmful videos sometimes. And I would say, let us make it a point the first week of Advent, to be alert, especially to be alert regarding the not so good sides or not so good videos that we encounter sometimes, to be vigilant and to be away from them, because they don't lead us to the good path, but they lead us to destruction. So with these few reflections of mine, I urge you to be always vigilant, to be always dutiful in your work, especially your homework at home, not to wait till the exams come, but be prepared every day of your life, and above all to be watchful, to hope in God. So this is my message for you in this first season of Advent.